Hello, everybody. It's Royce here, and I want to welcome you all to my Royce in the House YouTube channel. Again tonight, every Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. We do some other little things midweek. But anyway, thank you all for showing up. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the one and only, the amazing David Bowie, known for constantly reinventing himself and his music. So anyway, do me all a favor. Let's hit that like button, that thumbs up button. It really helps the show get distributed to a wider audience. So please hit that. And at the same time, if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the notification bell, the top icon, the black one, because it just gives you a one-time notification when the show's coming on, just so you're sure not to miss it, because we don't want to miss you being here. So anyway,
Absolutely not.
First thing I need to do is introduce the panel. Next to me is the one and only Michael Nolan, the Bottom Line. We just came from his live stream. Michael Nolan's got a great show. He puts out tons of content. And a week or so ago, he started doing live streams as well. And he's really doing well with it. So make sure you go check out Michael Nolan, the Bottom Line. Okay, so next to Michael now, because we've just added novice Nick. Hey, Nick.
Hey,
is the one and only Chris
How
Elliott.
you doing, Nick?
And Chris Elliott actually hosts his own show, and I think it's a doo-wop show, right, Chris? On
there we go.
It's a combination of just about every genre you can think of except R&B and metal.
R&B and metal. Okay, sounds good. Chris is very knowledgeable. We really appreciate having him on. Directly below him is Rampage Videos Dawson. Hey, Dawson, how are you tonight?
Great. This is Dawson from Rampage Video. I was at the last Sum 41 show a few days ago, so I'm fresh off the concerts.
Wow. Okay, right on. And next to Dawson is our good friend and regular co-host, Novice Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Good. How's everybody tonight?
Oh, good, Nick.
We're
good
all
to
doing
see you,
great,
brother.
man. Good to see you. So we're gonna excuse me.
Barely
folks.
made it.
Excuse me. Yeah.
But you made it.
But you made it. Yeah. So we're gonna get right into the show now.
Still got stuff.
So talk a little bit about David Bowie's career.
Yeah.
Okay, so David Robert Jones, known professionally as David Bowie, an English singer, songwriter, actor, record producer, and multi-instrumentalist, born January 8th, 1947 in Brixton, Great Britain, and died 8 years ago, January 10th, 2016, at the age of 69. He had cancer with some complications. It's kind of a sad story. Bowie, a pioneer of glam rock, whose work blended pop, rock, psychedelia, and folk, was known, as I mentioned earlier, for constantly reinventing himself and his music. From the 60s hippie of Space Oddity to Ziggy Stardust and the Thin White Duke, his diverse body of work, includes hits like Changes, Fame, Let's Dance, Under Pressure. So have you guys got any comments you want to add in here right now? I don't want to just take over and just not stop.
Well, you mentioned Let's Dance.
Yes.
I know we're going to be talking about favorite albums and everything.
Yeah.
And there's going to be one that Chris will want to definitely bring up. So I'm going to sidestep that one for right now.
Okay.
But I do want to say this about Let's Dance. That's my favorite Bowie record. I'm shameful. I should be spanked. I have dared to say it, but damn, what a freaking record. I mean, you've got Stevie Ray Vaughan playing a style of guitar that you've never heard him play again, right? I mean, he went straight into Hendrix blues and all of that. Mm-hmm. But on this record is the perfect testimony to prove that Stevie Ray Vaughan was a master guitarist, just as a guitarist. Now,
oh yeah, absolutely.
The material on this album is top-notch pop and a personification of the best of the 80s. I think he reached more people with this. If this was 30 years ago, it would be at the top of people's list, but it's decline by, I think,
over time.
Bowie snobs. Bowie snobs. And you know what? Part of the problem was Bowie walked it back a bit too. You know, he couldn't wait to get out of that little collared identity, you know. So that's what that would be what I have to say. What about you, Chris?
I agree with what you're saying about the Let's Dance. That is probably my second album or favorite of his, although I don't have a copy of it. But like Ziggy Stardust, I've had that.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the first CDs I ever remember buying. Along with, well, it was the first pack of CDs I got from Columbia House. So, you know, go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that one all the time. I mean, it's regularly on the stand in Walmart, for example. You know, and I need to pick that. Yeah, go ahead.
Like Suffragette City, the title track, Ziggy Stardust itself is my favorite Bowie song.
Yeah, I love that song.
By Space Oddity.
I love that song, Suffragette City.
Yeah,
and
Starman.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's on there. Rock and Roll Suicide. Yeah.
And my second favorite album by him. So we're copacetic there. Yeah. So we just flipped, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah. My one is your two. Your two is my one. That kind of thing. Yeah. Cool. What about you, Nicholas?
I'm with you for a change. We're right together.
So, that is a change. But we like the contrast.
This is a big one.
But they're not always a contrast. It's just seeing things through different eyes.
Yeah.
No, I know. Exactly.
And that's the way it's always taken, Nicholas. I like to banter with you. You know that. That's all.
It's always fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I love him. His changes, not trying to be funny, but his changes throughout the course of his lifetime as an artist have swung wildly, which is one of the beautiful things about David Bowie. If you can't find something in his catalog that strikes you, I'd have to question you. I'm sorry, because he's hit on so many different types of music and
so many
and
genres,
expression, and he's reinvented himself so many times.
I've often called him the chameleon of rock.
That's absolutely
but
what
it wasn't to follow fads or fashion. It was to follow his own inner being, and that's a difference. A lot of people change to follow what's going on in the world.
Right. That's exactly right.
I don't believe that thought never crossed his mind.
Okay, I gotta interrupt you guys. Nick, when you're speaking, it sounds like in the background, like somebody's tapping on a table there. I don't know if anybody else notices that, but
no, I don't notice it.
Yeah,
I noticed a little crackle, but it wasn't interrupting my train of thought or anything. But I did hear it, Chris. You're right.
Nobody here, and
see, it's
how you hear it.
It sounds like maybe your mic is vibrating something, Nick.
I do hear a little crackling now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you have a fan on?
No. There's no TV. There's nothing in it. Maybe I need to turn the TV on.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
Somebody commented that I didn't have something on in the background. There's absolutely no noise here. So I can step out and come back if you like. Let me try that. Okay.
It's not going to kill me, so don't worry about it. You know.
Okay, guys. So
I didn't mean to send him away. I just have
What made David Bowie a legend? Okay, before David Bowie became one of the greats with hits like Starman or Heroes, he too started small. At 15, founded his first band, the Conrads. However, the band didn't last long, which is why Bowie devoted himself to his solo career in the mid-60s. The reason for the band's end was probably his eccentric nature, making him very difficult to work with, okay? So anyway, to avoid being confused with another popular British musician, Jones soon adopted the name, I love this story, David Bowie, paying homage to the character from the American film The Alamo. Now, who didn't love The Alamo? I got a confession to make. My sister had the Barbie house and everything Barbie. I had the Alamo plastic fort that was about this large, and a day didn't go by when I was a kid that I didn't reenact that war between, at the Alamo. John Wayne, Richard Widmark. I mean, my God.
Throw a link out for Nick.
Huh?
Throw a link out for Nick, Royce.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Nick, the link is out there, my brother. So anyway, when that new movie, The Alamo, came out, there's no way I could go watch it, and I finally watched it. And I absolutely loved it. That guy did such a great job. Okay.
Well, those are the stories we used to grow up at. That was what you learned at school.
Right, right.
You got assignments on the Alamo. It was American history. I'm not so sure they do so much of that anymore, but
who was the star in the second making of it that I originally couldn't go watch because I loved the first one so much?
Was that the Ron Howard film?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Oh, okay. So anyway,
but wasn't that directed by Ron Howard the second time?
I think it was, Michael.
I don't know. That snapped out of my brain out of nowhere, Royce, and I didn't know what else to do with it, but open my mouth and express it.
I think that's correct. Okay, so unlike many other musicians, David Bowie not only dreamed of making music since childhood, but also dreamed of being able to make a living from music. After his first songs were mainly satirical mockery songs. He devoted himself, this is crazy, to the study of Tibetan Buddhism. Although he never completely turned his back on music during the late 60s, his focus was more on his education than on his music career. After this training phase was over, there was a change of style in Bowie's music. He distanced himself from the satirical streak from then and attached more importance to the poetic style of music. Okay, the second album was a lot more accurate in this regard and made it into the charts after a flop with the first album. The 1969 album Space Oddity became the basis for his success. So okay, let's jump back into the panel here for a bit and get a conversation going. So Michael's fireplace. What do you guys think of Michael's fireplace?
Well, I think it's damn purty.
It is damn pretty.
It brightens the place right up.
Okay.
Get some water.
Okay. Joseph Blue said he changed his name because of Davy Jones was in the Monkees.
Yeah, so I had heard something like that too.
Yeah. Ozzy Pete on the Alamo. That's right. I love that story too. Although I wouldn't have loved it as a kid. He did what? Hang him. Dwayne
did worse than that.
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. So Space Oddity is first big successful album. What did you guys like that one?
Yeah, I had a few good tracks on it.
Yeah, it had a few good tracks on it. That's right.
In a folk phase.
Right. I have it here. Space Oddity, the #1 song on Changes, and this is a good album. It's got Space Oddity. It's got Ziggy Stardust, Suffragette City, Diamond Dogs, Rebel, Fame, Golden Years. I mean, this is a great album right here.
Yes.
Now, if you want to hear a crazy Bowie album, you've got to get David Bowie, Scary
Monsters.
Scary monster. Yeah. This I tell you, this is really strange. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody agree with that? This is a strange album.
Strange is also the name of one of his albums.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Yes. Any more comments on anything we've discussed so far, guys? Or
I wanted to bring up the album Earthling. I thought that was like he had been kind of I don't know, waiting between, of course, Let's Dance, and then when Earthling came out, I hear a re-energized. Hey, Johnny. I
Hey,
hear
we've
a
been joined by
re-energized.
Johnny L. How you doing, brother?
Not bad. How's everybody?
We're doing well. Doing well.
Okay,
I was going to say, I hear a re-energized David Bowie on that album, is what I was saying. And enough pop. You know, I love, you know, and what an album cover.
Right.
You know,
right.
The man was cut for that uniform. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we've been joined by our friend Johnny L. Good to see you here, man.
Re-energized or sober?
Re-energized.
Boy,
Right.
Johnny was just alive and well on my stream, Royce. Johnny, I can't say thank you enough.
Oh no, I saw
your
that.
input on my stream. What a superstar!
No problem,
you
brother.
are a rock star.
Hey,
Johnny
listen,
sober too?
And yeah, well, between me and Johnny on my stream, one of us was sober and one of us wasn't, and we're not telling.
Oh no, I was sober. I don't drink that really. So, but
busted again.
I changed on my thing. I put, and you probably get it, Michael. I put Johnny L, and in brackets the doo-wop hippie.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I did. He was talking about this guy, this clown on my channel. You're a burnout old hippie. You only talk about old bands. You never talk about new bands.
Yeah,
and you know, my response was, and.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, you know what? That's the music I love. I'm sorry. You know.
Yeah. I'm not sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm not sorry. No, I'm not.
Well, I explained it on my stream, my channel, and I think yours is too. I think your channel is directed in this sense too.
Totally.
I feel like both of our channels are curators of what classic rock was. I include that to be from 1955 to 2005. Okay, I don't know what your specific range is, Royce, but that's when rock ruled planet Earth for me, you know.
I pretty much start in the 60s, you know, early 60s, early 60s.
Yeah, see, I include like Elvis, and then of course Bill Haley in the comments, who are credited as putting out the very first official rock single.
That's right.
And our #1 hit anyway. And that's 1955, the year I was born, right? And so, and that includes also, even though he's not rock, he was mainly country, but he's so rock, I don't care. Johnny Cash, The Man in Black.
Yeah,
and
I feel that way about Johnny Cash, and I also feel that way about Willie Nelson.
Right, and I grew up with them, and of course the Everly Brothers, who were rock and roll, you know. So I include all of that, and the doo-wop groups that came between them and the Beatles were all part of it to a degree.
Right.
Just like the pop bands in the 60s and 70s were kind of rock to a degree at times.
There's Little Richard, Chuck Berry. There's
Chuck Berry.
All kinds of groups that started.
Oh yeah, great balls of fire.
Yeah. Right.
But you know, it was Johnny. You bring up a good point, and then we'll get back to David Bowie. But you bring up a good point. You know, it was the payola schemes that were going on at that time, and those very members that you mentioned getting into Naughty Naughty time and getting busted, that they went with a lot of the, say, Frankie Avalon singers, and that's what we got inundated with there until the Beatles landed, you know.
Okay, so although Space Oddity became the basis of Bowie's success, his real breakthrough came when he switched labels in 1971 from Mercury to RCA. There, Bowie became the worldwide star who is still known in every country today. After some investments in the marketing of his character, the old albums were also re-released and adapted to his new style. So anyway, the old album was re-released, adapted to his new style. In the same year, Bowie embarked on a sold-out tour across America, on which he played the most famous hits to date. Okay, one of the real masterpieces was the album The Rise and Fall, as Chris mentioned earlier. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, released in early 1970s. Bowie's alter ego, Ziggy Stardust, was born with this album and became a symbol of David Bowie's, sexual attitude is what they call it, which was difficult.
Asexual attitude.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Asexual attitude, which was difficult to explain for many years. With glittering outfits, high heels, he succeeded with this figure, at least musically, to soften the boundaries between the sexes and to present himself, as well as many other people, in a completely new way. In addition to the aforementioned album from 72, there were many other albums that came with new songs, improvements, and performances, from albums like Hunky Dory in 71 to exciting releases such as Diamond Dogs in 74. All of these albums contributed to, and I'm going to read a few more, David Bowie's fame, and made him an exceptional artist even to today. Okay, The Man Who Sold the World in 70, Aladdin Sane in 73, Young Americans in 75, Heroes in 77, Lodger in 79, all contributed. In 76, Bowie moved to West Berlin, a city that was heavily influenced by the Cold War. This phase of life is also reflected in the songs that were created in this phase as part of his rather dark Berlin trilogy. It was not, go ahead, man. I'm gonna,
I just wanted to make a comment on exactly what you're talking about now.
Okay, good.
Earlier today, I watched David Bowie documentary called Moon Age Daydream, and he was talking about some of those things, and he said he was burnt out before he went to Berlin. And he was quoted as saying, "I wanted to go to the most arduous place on earth that I could think of, so I moved to West Berlin at the time." And he said he stripped down everything. He said he rented some little apartment above like a garage, basically like a mechanic's garage. And he said he walked to the store every day. Nobody gave a shit who he was. And that's how he re-energized himself to start making newer music.
Right on.
You two would follow that direction later, wouldn't they, Chris?
Oh, yes.
You know, they did. They stripped themselves down, reinvented themselves, and Germany was part of that whole story and the whole thing. And there's something about, what is it about Germany? It's like an industrialization feel of rock that the avant-garde artists, or those who are willing to become avant-garde, directioned for a while. They turned to Germany. Pages turned to Germany.
Well, there was a genre, industrial rock, if I remember right.
Oh
yeah.
Can I make one more comment though? And where it pertains to the Ziggy Stardust album as well. One of the things he was also saying in that documentary was that when he created Ziggy Stardust, the character, it was supposed to be the quintessential rock god hero. Says, from zero to everywhere, and then the reality crashing back down. He said that was exactly what it was meant, and then he kind of lost control of his character and started becoming the Starman and everything, for a while.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I just want to throw this out one more time, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button. It helps the show get distributed to a wider audience. If you're not already a subscriber, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. Got to mention this too. We also have a membership. We've got people in our membership that have joined to help the show out. And we appreciate each and every one of you just for being here.
And if anybody's here from my stream, I will say this, please sub Royce up and give this stream a thumbs up. And thanks for putting up with me twice in one night. But my channel supports Royce's channel. He is my brother channel.
Mine years, going back to the beginning practically.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what? And I consider Michael like my best friend, you know?
Yep. Brother from another mother.
Yes, yes, from another mother. So anyway, we'll get back to talking about the show here a little bit. It wasn't until the mid '80s that the music developed more happily, and thus again in a completely new interpretation of his genre. Songs like China Girl, Let's Dance, shaped the style and the associated appearance as a talented musician to this day. You know, those songs shape it.
Yeah.
No single genre could encapsulate the breadth of music across Bowie's career. No, impossible. While his work in the pop genre belonged to the core of popular music to this day, his work were never easy to assign a label to. You know, that's just always changing, you know. So in the 1990s, Bowie redeveloped his music one more time. At that time, he also devoted himself to the genres of jazz, hip hop, and the electronic sound. Now, I didn't know that. I didn't know he got into jazz, hip hop, and the electronic sound and new trends. It was his pop music in the 70s, however, that launched him into stardom. So anyway, we gotta explore that a little bit, guys. I mean, hip hop, you know, I mean, I didn't know that.
He experimented as
He really
most
did
all
experiment, didn't
genres.
he? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he loved what he was doing, and he wanted to taste every bit of
Mhm.
genre of music that was out there.
Yeah. He
Right,
also said
right.
that he wanted to, as soon as he was where he was giving the people what they wanted, he didn't want to be there. He wanted to be giving them what he had. And then if they
Right.
wanted it, fine. But he didn't want to be
His
one of those bands that just kind of, okay, this is what you want. This is what I'll give you. He actually was, I'm
yeah,
paraphrasing his quote, but
which
he said, once you get to that, you're stagnant, and then you might as well go find something else to do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's an interesting
yeah,
way, you know,
yeah.
because
That was
a
yesterday's
lot of us,
music.
when our
Yeah.
best bands change, it's kind of upsetting, you know.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, he even went out that way, Chris. I mean, with Black Star, his final album, uh, he 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 presents his own death. He's working through his own dying while he's in the studio. I mean, the only other person that I knew that ever did that was Freddie Mercury for Innuendo and the Miracle. You know, and to come back that strong, because I with Freddie, Innuendo, more so than the Miracle, in my humble opinion, is one of Queen's very best albums, and came back. For me, Black Star is one of his best albums, but it's still too soon for me
yeah,
to delve into it. It's it's like I couldn't listen to the Eagles for 2 years after Glenn Fry died. You know, it's like a bummer, man. Damn bummer.
Right.
I'm not one of those listeners that go, "Oh, so and so died. I'm gonna go out and buy all their albums." There are those who do that,
yeah,
but I kind of get, especially if it's somebody I followed in any way.
Right,
It's
right.
like, oh man, oh God, no, I got to put that away for a while and grieve, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, it looks like I have a fellow uh hold on a minute. Like I have a fellow Zappa fan here. Rotz Mansack. His picture here is Frank Zappa. I love that picture with the pigtails. Germany was a hotbed for free jazz avant-garde experimentation. That's
yeah,
a great comment. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I concur. Yep.
I had to get that out there. Joseph Blue, he was producer for Lou Reed Transformer. Well, that's interesting.
Yep.
Eric Schultz, one of my favorite artists, is Laszlo Moholy Nagy, a Hungarian artist in photography, sculpture, painting, who was part of the Berlin scene in the 20s. Ended up
I'll
in
have to look
Chicago
him
during
up.
World War II. That's fascinating, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. On review of this, I'll look him up, Eric. I trust your judgment, brother.
Yeah, such a great group here, you know.
Oh yeah.
Black Star in my top 5 Bowie albums. Yeah, no, that's a great one.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, yeah.
It just hurts too much to hear it right now, you know.
I mean, David Bowie is good enough. He even wrote All the Young Dudes for Matahupo, and that ended up going #1 for both him and them.
Oh, major help to Mott.
Yep.
So New York for Bowie was another turn in career. In 1989, Bowie founded his new band, The Machine, which unfortunately didn't see the success he had hoped for. The tour, which took place in 1992, was therefore a failure despite Bowie's numerous previous hits. The band therefore came to an end, and after only about 3 years in the same year, Bowie married his second wife, Ayman Abdulmajid. From then on, Bowie lived with her and their son in New York. There he continued to work on his musical career in New York. For example, Bowie created the popular soundtrack for the TV series The Buddha of Suburbia. I don't think I've ever seen that.
well-known TV series.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. In addition to music, he also devoted himself to art in New York. He was involved in that scene, and even exhibited his own works of art. That's pretty interesting. Okay.
Oh, he was an artist in every sense of the word, even physically, how he presented himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not a damn bad actor either when he put his mind to it. You know?
No, that's right. After he was still able to make a living from his music sales in the following time, he bought back all the rights from his songs in 1997. Due to the cooperation with various labels, there were in many cases still with the label itself. In total, around 250 songs and 25 albums are now part of the exceptional artist portfolio. With this work,
good for him.
Bowie went public with this work, which brought him $55 million US. According to Business Age magazine, David Bowie became the richest British rock musician with a fortune of more than $900 million at that time.
Ooh,
he still didn't want to say goodbye to music. So anyway, guys, let's
well, the truly greats, Royce, never do. I mean,
panel here. Yeah.
I was going to say that truly greats never do. I mean, McCartney is even richer than that now, and has hit billionaire status more than once. And he's recording and finishing up the recording of his new album, expected out later this year. You know, these guys don't get rich to be rich. These guys got rich by being creative, and they never forgot it.
Right. Yes. Any more comments right now, or?
I think every record listener, most that I've talked to, have had a David Bowie phase, and just like they had David Bowie phases, David Bowie always had his different phases in music.
Right.
My favorite album from David Bowie is Young Americans, because I do have most of his early records, and I played them on the vinyl and looked at the liner notes and all that stuff, and it's just that one record that really resonated with me growing up at 16, 17 in high school.
Yeah. Yep.
It's an excellent record, Dawson. As a matter of fact, when Bowie first came out, Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, I was into Alice Cooper. And for the same reason I didn't really get into Kiss, I didn't really get into Bowie at that time. It's when he came up with that, that whole groove, you know. And then I went back and started testing out his earlier stuff. But it was right around Young Americans and all of that. That's when I really became hyperly aware of him. You were talking about everybody has their own favorite period. That would be mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm discovering tonight more than any other time, there's a lot of Frank Zappa fans here. I want everybody to know, I think I have at least 6 or 7 Frank Zappa shows in my playlist. Everything from why Frank Zappa called John Wayne a Nazi while he was on stage at the Whiskey A Go-Go to believe it or not, I mean, that's a true story.
Yeah.
It's a crazy story too, to be honest with you. his guards were holding him back, you know, and telling Zappa to shut up. Wayne was all drunk and stuff and wanted to come up, jump on stage. But anyway, all the way from that crazy one to Frank Zappa's dying request to Ian Anderson, Jethro Tull's front man. And, you know, that's been my biggest show to date. Zappa's dying request to Ian Anderson has pulled in over 67,000 views and brought me something like 350 subscribers when it came out. So anyway, that was 8 months ago. Yeah, so anyway,
I remember your surge and growth at that point.
It was pretty amazing, and I did several. You know, Frank Zappa, he met John and Yoko were brought up to his house by this magazine guy, and he invited John and Yoko to come down to the Whiskey A Go Go where he was playing, and he was going, no, I'm sorry, it's Fillmore East. This was in New York. He wasn't at Laurel Canyon. So they came down and. You know, he invited them to come up on stage after he finished his set with his band, and he said, "Listen, I'm gonna record this. We record all the stuff we do here, and I'll send you a copy of the tapes. You can use them, you know, for some of your stuff, and I'll use them for some of my stuff." Well, when John and Yoko released theirs, they actually stole a song that was Frank Zappa's, a song named King Kong. They gave it a new name, and he said it was really obvious this was a structured song. We weren't just jamming when we did this song. And he was really shocked that they stole it from him, gave it a new name. I think it was Jamrag, which was, I think, French for feminine napkin. and it took writing credit for it, and it was on a previous album, you know, of Frank Zappa's. Anyway, enough of Frank Zappa. We may have to do another show if this keeps up. And so let's get back to a little bit more of the story here.
What have you stolen from me lately?
Right. So anyway, even during the 2000s, he worked on new works and songs that are still of musical importance today. Okay. At the same time, he discovered his interest in acting, worked in several thrillers and films. Still, things got much calmer around Dave Bowie. He was diagnosed with cancer and with serious complications just 2 days after his final album, Black Star, the release of which was celebrated on his 69th birthday. The exceptional artist died from the complications of his illness. His many songs will not be forgotten. This versatility and emotionality of his voice was one thing that ensured each new song could elicit unique feelings from a completely new style. This made the music powerful, but at the same time emotional. Another reason why David Bowie is not only celebrated as a songwriter, but above all, an exceptional singer. So the variety of different tones and styles of music, you know, it was possible for him to oscillate across many genres and categories. He's able to express many different sides. You know, we don't want to miss an opportunity to introduce you to the three most famous songs of Bowie here. So we're going to introduce you to the three most famous songs of Bowie. China Girl, one of the biggest hits from the album Let's Dance, was undisputedly, you know, the biggest. Although the same album was originally written for Iggy Pop, David Bowie ultimately recorded the song himself. This is how the song attracted a lot of attention worldwide. Okay. The next song, Under Pressure, the cooperation between David Bowie and Queen. What's that?
No, I was just doing the bass line in the background for you.
Okay, right on. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, that was a cooperation between David Bowie and Queen, one of the highlights of modern rock, Under Pressure. Under Pressure is one of the most famous Queen songs worldwide, which made both Bowie and Queen even more popular. Okay.
The most ripped off bass line in rock history, by the way.
And that's okay.
Hence I was doing it.
Yeah, I've heard Vanilla Ice say that they stole it off of him. So I mean,
yeah, he would. Let's all believe Vanilla Ice. Yeah, there's a truth.
Well,
there's a truthful guy.
Yeah, them and Milli Vanilli. Yeah.
Brother.
Okay, and the third song, "Heroes," one of the most iconic pop songs of all time. "Heroes" can be found in the album of the same name, if not without reason. That many fans, refer to this era as the high point of Bowie's career, which can also be seen in his musical style. To this day, the songs can be heard on many films, actually. So anyway, folks, what I want to mention now is just some of the accolades and stuff like that. Okay. He had, he won 6 Grammy Awards, 4 Brit Awards, often dubbed the chameleon of rock due to his continual musical reinvention. He was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996. Number 1 hits include "Fame" and "Let's Dance," and that's the whole list. There aren't others to include. David Bowie was posthumously sweeps 5 Grammy wins. David Bowie has racked up the most Grammy Award wins of any artist this year. The rock icon's 25th final album, Black Star, picked up 5 Grammys. So anyway, guys, what do you think? What do you think about this?
He's not in the Country Hall of Fame. I mean,
not that I'm aware of.
I mean, if Dolly can be in the Rock and Roll and we leave out a few other artists, why not? Right?
Right.
Yeah. That's a good question. Why you never went that way? It's interesting.
Well, I went with my girlfriend between your show, Michael, and this one, and she happened to be watching the Grammys, and Beyonce just won the best album in country. So I mean,
oh, good
Jesus,
Lord,
come on!
I mean,
oh boy,
that was just tonight, Chris.
Yeah, I
okay.
went downstairs to get something to drink, and she was watching that, and I just they were giving the award for best country.
Poor Ringo, poor Ringo.
I think Michael's favorite from that album of Beyonce's, I think, is "Blackbird," the Beatles cover.
Yeah, it was a hit, all right, boys. What?
Did I stir up a pot?
God, I hate that album. I hate that woman. I was hoping and praying that Ringo's rather lustless album would beat it, but
I got to admit,
a Grammy or something.
Yeah, well, I got to admit, I bought it on the CD because I was curious. What's fact and what's fiction, but there was very few things I really can say that I liked on.
Yeah, I listened to.
Go ahead.
I listened to a few tracks there on YouTube, and I didn't like too much.
You like the fact that you got change back from your $10 bill?
Texas Hold'em was kind of okay. I didn't have a problem with Blackbird.
It's all canned, though. The whole album sounds canned.
And the other one, the other one that I thought was pretty good was the Dolly Parton song "Jolene." I thought she did a great job on that song. I mean, she's got a voice. We all know she's got a voice.
Oh, the woman could sing. I just don't care for what she is and the songs she sings and the styles of songs that she sings. And she ain't no country artist. And it's not a country album. I don't care what anybody says.
Country album.
Dan McNew, just the facts man, just jumped in. I want you guys to know. Here's Dan. Dan was co-hosting with me before Michael was even on the show. I mean, we go back probably 4.5 years at least, Dan. Wouldn't you say?
Wow.
Wouldn't you say we go back that far on different shows? I mean, we were all.
Were your ears burning, Dan? We were talking about you earlier.
It was all good.
It was all good, brother.
It was all
good.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you so much, Dan, for your donation. You rock.
We got locked up in the ward together and everything else, didn't we? Yeah. Because we got beat up. We got beat up in some vinyl competition. We got sent to the ward. I had a black eye. Dan, didn't you have your arm in a sling? Everybody was injured. Everybody was hurt from losing. Give me 1 second. I might have a picture of that.
Well, he's gone. Hey, Dan, you got everybody's respect when we were all talking behind your back, and it was all good. So, there.
No, mad respect for Mr. McNutt.
Okay.
You know,
Years ago, we were on a show called.
when I finally grow up, I want to be just like you, Dan.
We were on a show called. I'm going to make myself bigger
luck,
here
Michael.
so we can see this. Well, it was called
see.
Talking Wax, where we competed with our vinyl, and then there was a vote counter in the chat, and it would count the vote who won the contest. And if you see there. Okay, wait. I'm going to find my right from my left here. Here's Dan with his arm in a sling, and here I am over here with the black eye, because we had all lost in the vinyl competition.
I love it.
There's Ashley from England. He played in a couple of different bands. He was always hard to beat because the girls all liked him because he was an English musician.
Oh,
whatever. I want a guitar, damn it, you know. And
by Jove, I think that makes sense.
Remember the Colonel? Didn't he have a heart attack and pass? Okay, look at here's Daddy Boggs. Right here, Daddy Boggs.
Daddy Boggs.
Here's Ed Stasium.
Daddy Boggs has been around since way before I ever even started a channel, man.
Ed Stasium, I think it produced like the Ramones and a bunch of other bands. There was all kinds of people here, all kinds of friends. There's the Wizard, Pat the Wizard. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. Just Dan got me thinking about some of this stuff, and I think the show's getting close. So I thought I'd throw that out there. We had fun. I mean, it all kind of fell apart just because of the guy that was running it, but whatever,
Well, didn't it eventually morph into this?
No. We
I thought that was all kind of connected.
When I left that show, it was a lot of showing albums and stuff.
Yeah.
So I lost to Jeff Davidson, who comes on, and so Jeff Davidson was supposed to pick out some albums that were being offered by the sponsor of the show, which was a record store. Okay, and Jeff says, "Hey Royce, we got to pick between three." He goes, "Pick one of those albums out." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Pick an album out. I've won before. I've won." He's been winning albums, and I'm like, No. Come on, don't be ridiculous. You won your album. You pick it out. And he insisted. So I picked out an album. They sent it to me. And they sent another one along with it that I wasn't expecting. So that was kind of cool. But anyway, let me get back downsized here. So anyway, we had fun, and while it lasted, there was really a cast of characters there that were something else. Ove, Michael McVeigh, and Pat the Wizard, who both co-hosted with me when I finally started a channel with co-hosts, and Dan McNew was there, and it's been a ride. Let me tell you, folks, it's been a ride. And my channel, I think I probably hit 1.8 thousand subscribers this week. Last I looked, I was at 1.795. And so anyway, we're growing, but it hasn't been like meteoric or anything.
Oh, I think that'll change. Royce. I think you're due. I think you're due, brother.
Yeah.
You guys know the story behind one of Bowie's favorite song, or most famous songs, I should say. Space Oddity.
One of whose most famous songs?
David Bowie's.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah. The story behind Space Oddity, I've heard a couple different versions. One of them is that it's all about a heroin addict.
Oh,
Major Tom was a heroin addict.
Really?
Which was actually backed up on this a later album, Ashes to Ashes. But just there's a quick rundown about it. It's, if you go line through line, it's like the first one's ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills, put your helmet on, and then ground control is addiction, telling him he needs what to do. He needs to prepare.
I never heard that, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, and then it's commencing countdown, engines on. It's okay, everything's ready to go, shots made up, everything looks good. Last chance to cancel the pain, but that's not going to happen. Then the countdown, 9, 10, all the way up to liftoff, right? And then, liftoff is when you're shooting it into your arm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then by the time it gets to the end, it's like, now it's
floating in a tin can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I can see that.
And then once he's, ground control, I'm stepping through the door, I'm floating in a most peculiar way. Well, he's not looking at things any different or any, Major Tom seems to have changed his outlook. He's high. The sickness is gone.
Yep.
Yeah. And then near the end, it goes, I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife, I love her very much. Well, he has no worries. He's off in his own little world. He's not stressing about all that other shit. And then your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Well, he just overdosed.
Has any of the rest of the panel heard this story?
Never. But I was going, as he was describing it, I was going right along with it. I go, can't argue with that,
And then in the Ashes to Ashes song, there's a line. It's we've heard the rumor on ground control. Oh no, don't say it's true. Where is it down here? Ain't got no money and got no hair, but I'm hoping to kick this planet ashes to ashes, funk to funky. We know Major Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low.
Wow, Chris, man, you got this down.
So you heard about this yourself, Nick?
Yes. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a long time since, I visited that, but as soon as he mentioned it, I was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It sounds like it should be true, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of people are saying it's a metaphor for the drugs he did in the 70s and that. Well, the song was written in 69, so it wasn't that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And isolation and everything else, along with being a drug addict, the isolation and everything that comes with it. So,
man, it fits. It fits.
Well, I tell you, a whole lot of that in the 60s.
Yeah. Well, in the 50s and in the 40s and 30s with the jazz. They're popping heroin big time.
I want to second this emotion. Carla Murray, Randy, thanks for coming. Yes.
Yep, I just read that. I agree.
Randy Man X, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we're sort of kind of winding down now. I mean, I enjoyed this show. Somebody brought it up last week in the chat. Why don't you do a show on David Bowie? And so
I'd like to ask the panel one last question, if you don't mind, Royce.
No, go right ahead, brother.
What would be the one song that is your most favorite David Bowie song from any time period you want to choose from?
Fame. I like Fame.
Yeah, Fame's
good.
Yeah, I like Fame too. Yeah, I probably would have a tie with 3 or 4 different songs.
Yeah.
Let's Dance, Under Pressure. I mean,
I even like
Changes.
China Girl.
I mean, there's a lot of them that.
Yeah, a lot of them.
That's kind of like asking which favorite Beatle record you like. I mean,
Rebel.
They're all good.
Right? Eleanor Rigby, Johnny. Eleanor Rigby.
It's hard. Yeah.
Myself, it would probably be the title track to Ziggy Stardust, closely followed by Space Oddity.
Good choices. Yeah.
I like that Suffragette City a lot too.
Let's just say
the one that does it for me is "Don't Let Me Hear You Say Loud." Oh man. I could listen to that song 3 times in a row and not even be satiated. His voice,
it's a great
melody
loss to the music industry for sure.
Absolutely, Johnny. I agree.
Okay, I'll make one more impassioned plea for everyone to hit the like button. Help distribute the show. It's really funny, I've been like, if it takes you a week to get 50 likes, it doesn't really work. But if you wind up getting 50 likes within a day or 2 of the show, it's just shocking what happens. The algorithm grabs it and keeps putting it in front of people to watch. And like I did a show, I don't know, 10 days ago or something. It was actually a Bob Dylan 10-minute long little Bob Dylan show after I'd already done the bio on him. And man, that thing just really blew up. And I did a 14-second short, on a Bob Dylan song, like a Rolling Stone. I think it just hits, a week ago, I think it just hit 7,000 views. But it's got hundreds of likes, and every time you hit 50, they just keep pushing it. So anyway,
that's how it works, folks. So and you got to understand, the majority of views for Royce's streams come after the fact. So
yes,
you know,
right.
so if you're watching this after the fact, you are the people that are, you know, probably most of the peanut gallery has done you that solid tonight, and we certainly appreciate it. But if you're watching this for, you know, the first time, but the stream is no longer live, it's your thumbs up that are really going to drive this video. So thank you for that, folks.
You know,
Yeah.
someone brought up in the chat, about the Christmas White Christmas with Bing Crosby. That's going. That's amazing. Like the little drummer boy between Bing Crosby and Bowie. It's like two extremes of the spectrum for music coming together to sing that. It was absolutely great, I thought.
Yeah, no, I always loved that video. Yeah, I always loved that.
And Bing Crosby enjoyed it. You could tell by his face, he just absolutely loved.
They had fun.
You know, Bing Crosby was my mother's favorite singer.
He's one of my top favorite crooners of that period. He's you know, Sinatra's probably number one, but Crosby, I like Dean Martin. I loved, you know, Tony Bennett, but he would be up there with those guys. You know?
Let me ask the panel here. Who has heard Ringo's New Country album? I haven't heard it yet, but I heard it. I think it's like #1 or something right now.
I didn't even know he had an album coming out, to be honest.
Well, it's I think it did reach #1, but wasn't that in England? I'm not sure.
Maybe, yeah.
I've heard it, and I discussed that on Larry's stream the weekend you weren't streaming, so I was able to show up. I usually can't show up on his streams because I'm prepping for yours, but and now I've got to stream before you, and so that's shot in the foot. But it was the first time I had been up there, and they asked me, you know, Larry asked me right away, and I said, well, at least he doesn't have to be embarrassed of it. To me, it's ho hum. It's just ho hum.
Right.
And I'm not interested in owning it at all, you know, but that's my opinion. What say the rest of the panel?
Well, I think some people, maybe it's just because it's Ringo Starr, maybe, and then they just bought it.
Well,
that too, right? So I think that's part of it too, right? But good for him at his age.
But it appears
another album. Good for him,
right?
Yeah, it appears to be ringing some people's chimes, though, Johnny, because it's selling well, not by yesterday's standards and stuff, but it's selling well. And his other stuff for years hasn't, like this. So. But it's him doing country and, you know, her doing country, and it's like it's so homogenized to me that like I said, I grew up country. I know what country is. That's not country to me, you know.
I guess Dolly Parton can do rock. There's no reason why Ringo can't do country.
Right. Well, except that Dolly Parton shouldn't do rock.
Well, no,
that's my opinion. I think that album sucks.
Dolly Parton's voice is not really made for rock, really.
Well, and it's not her genre, and it doesn't matter if she wants to call herself rock star or not. She's not. She's just
I think
not.
she was bending to pressure. That's all.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Johnny, I am a major Dolly Parton fan. I love Dolly Parton, but she ain't rock. And I don't like that album at all.
Some people need to stay in their own lane.
And exactly, Nick.
I want to say just the facts, Dan, our buddy Dan, thanking us.
Dan.
No, Dan, thank you. Next time
this is like old home week, you know.
Yeah, next time we want to get you up on the panel.
Anytime.
We're getting ready to close the show here now.
We've asked him before, and he's kind of declined, so that's why I didn't bring it up tonight. I didn't want to put any pressure on him, Royce.
Yeah, the Colonel did pass. Right?
Hey,
No,
before
I
we
understand.
close, may I ask your permission for something?
Absolutely.
After you mentioned my show earlier, and that it was asked if I could put the link in the chat. Would that be okay by you?
Absolutely, you can put it in the
Absolutely.
chat.
Yeah.
I wasn't
sure it's not
Anytime,
shows.
anytime. Yeah.
I was up
And Chris, if you want to do so on my stream sometime, feel free. And you know, anytime, brother.
I was up on Chris's show when he had
just posted it wouldn't come up.
last week or something like that. Was it Wednesday or something?
Wednesday, yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. Oh, he mentioned that earlier in the stream, Johnny. That you and him did that thing, so that's
I'll
so
be
cool.
there Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm behind getting connected to it. I'd explained to him it's a pretty involved email he sent us, and I've been right in the middle of reconfiguring my channel, you know, all month. So I'm slow to the email, but I promise to get to it.
We'll have to put the.
Hey, Michael, if I can figure it out, you can figure it out.
Yeah, no, I will.
I was like the same
I
thing.
promote.
I was like, how the hell do I get into this?
Yeah, I got to get into it, and that way I can promote Chris as well, because I would every time.
A good question here. What do we say about 80s Bowie?
Same as every. When he was reinventing himself with the
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Like
right.
He had more changes in his music than the 80s did itself. I mean,
yeah. I was just asked if I'm going to do a Zappa stream. I've done several Zappa shows. You know, that's definitely going to be considering that. If people want to see it, I'll definitely do it. Just
that would be interesting.
Congrats, Royce. Thank you, Dan. Yeah. I mean, most of my Zappa shows are pre-recorded. You know, maybe all of them are. You know,
like I wasn't really into a Zappa fan, but the only reason why I'm kind of I guess it's because I'm in the doo-wop thing, and Zappa did write some songs for the Penguins and a few other songs. He's got a few other songs out there that he was so he was kind of involved with the doo-wop scene too a little bit.
There you go.
Cool. You know, yeah, that'd be interesting for the Zappa thing.
I like Zappa.
In my opinion, anyway.
Right on. I like what Dave Hopfrog said here. Came by to leave a like. Saw my shadow today. Honestly, I'm not very comfortable with the whole thing. Well, thank you. Once again, the like button is huge, and if you're not already a subscriber, do me a proper and subscribe.
This is
hit that notification bell for a one-time notification. And welcome aboard. And we enjoy having you here
because my bread's ready that I made. So no, I got
here. I got it right. I'm eating it for you. I'll eat it for you.
I've got to admit it from one of those bread machines.
Now, Johnson, if you didn't bring enough for the whole class,
Johnny's becoming an old woman here.
Fast times at Richmond High.
Where's my pizza, man? It won't let me put my link in the chat here, so I'm just going to put it underneath the YouTube video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Let's go Eagles.
And by the way, Chris, do a playback of mine and drop it in there. I'm not going to remove that. I'll pin it to the top.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah,
I still have.
I'll do the same thing. I'll pin it. Yeah.
I still have my Eagles starter jacket from the '80s, the bright green. Yeah, they've changed colors since then, but I still got it, baby.
There you go.
I can't believe how far behind I am here. I gotta see if I can find the bottom of this.
You're slowing down, Royce. You know.
Well, you know what? You can't show all the chat messages. You know what I mean?
No.
Oh no, Royce tried to go that way. A year and a half ago, and it was
maybe so.
Yeah, we wound up not talking about anything that the show was supposed to be about.
Right. which we do well enough alone without that. Right?
Yeah.
Our tangent was kind of short today. That was nice.
Hey, George. Better late than never. Thanks for showing up. And
thanks for coming, George. Bye.
Check out George. We're getting ready to close the show. Check out Piccolina's channel, Piccolina the Cat.
Yeah.
Always fun.
And Eric, a big supporter of both of our channels, by the way, and we always appreciate that.
Eric, I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, no, that's a tough one to deal with. passing of Dad. Yeah, I you know what? I've been thinking
Yeah.
about mine a lot
So
lately.
Yeah.
My dad wound up contacting colon cancer at the age of 49, and by the time he was 56, he was dead at 56. Passed away.
Wow.
And
That's
yeah,
why
and I
you
mean,
need
and
to get it
they thought
done.
he'd beat it. They couldn't find anything wrong. And all of a sudden, it came back with a vengeance, and it was like liver, lungs, bones, you name it, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, it was
A
pretty
terrible
sad,
disease
and
for sure. Terrible
I think
disease.
about him. I think about him a lot more lately, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I
there we
just,
are.
as a matter of fact, boy, it's interesting. You know, when synchronicity happens, I've been doing a lot of thinking about my mom. I just released. It's a tiny little demo, so don't think of any big production or anything. But it's on my Patreon channel. A song called "Slipping Away," which I wrote about my mom.
Oh, I haven't. You put that on today, didn't you? On your email or something. I didn't get a chance to go see it yet. I was so busy all day.
And one of the verses gets in, and it says, and you know, because with her passing, I wrote, and here I am, I'm next at the station, you know, got to take my next train out, you know. When a parent dies, you are quite aware of your own mortality, you know.
Oh yeah,
really sad, really sad.
Yeah, well, my
Pop's
mother.
Pop's been going 7 years, and Mom, and let's see, next month will turn 91, God willing.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. You know, Kimberly just lost, she lived with us here. Her mother, just
sorry about
3 days before Christmas, and she was 93, Nick. So enjoy every moment you got with her, because, yeah.
Look, Mom goes to work 6 days a week with us at the restaurant.
Wow. I got a comment up from Just the Facts Man again, Dan. And for those of you that don't know, that film that was made of the space shuttle exploding, Dan filmed that. That was his film. And he does done all kinds of stuff. He came on when we had the complete eclipse of the sun. Dan came on my show with the guy that invented this eclipse.
You devoted your entire stream to it.
Yeah. It was my whole stream. Yeah,
it was your whole stream. See,
you know,
that's good Lord, Johnny. That's how much respect we have for this guy. Yeah,
I don't know this gentleman, but the more I hear about him, the more I'm getting fascinated about him.
Yeah, well, you know, he one of his very best friends was Dimebag Darrell, who was shot and killed on stage while he was performing, along with a few other people in the room. And Dan set up Ride for Dime, where it was like a Harley ride, in commemorating. And then they would stop someplace, and bands would play and stuff like that.
Wow!
And it grew from Texas, where he lived and where Dimebag Darrell lived. It grew and it started, you know, going to all these different states. And Dan started that whole damn thing.
Yes, he did.
But anyway, so yeah, Dan's an interesting guy. He's done a lot of stuff, and we enjoyed having him on as a co-host and
welcomed back like anytime.
Anytime, yeah, anytime for sure. But yeah, Best Beefheart and Zappa were friends. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Adam Finley, Zappa.
Oh, I tried
listening to
Zappa
the
is a album. The one with the fish on it. I don't know what people get into the Beefheart thing.
I've never listened myself, but
I was curious about it. It's like, oh crap.
You know what? I think I've reached the bottom of the chat. Must have been like 30 minutes behind. I admire.
Oh Lord, I couldn't keep up with my chat tonight. I was zipping through. You know,
you can't even. You really can't even try. It's when you have a panel like this, it's easier to jump over there and get some of the messages up and.
Well, you're trying to fit into the conversation and monitor the chat. Like I've said on my own, you know, that's why I'm so bad at it, is because I can come up here and just ha hoo ha and let Royce handle all the hard stuff, you know, because it's not easy. I found out the hard way. It's not easy.
I've I've never heard you just come up to the panel and say "aha, hoo ha" like that.
Well, watch. Here it is, Johnny.
For the
For
second
example.
time.
For example.
Well, wait,
If
guys.
I could choose the second.
I just want to say something. Eric Schultz put a comment up, and it reminds me exactly of like my father's situations. Started with the colon, then liver, then bone, and some other places. And his father died at 59. Mine was at 56. And he says I'm 3 years older than he was when he went. And I think about that kind of stuff all the time because I'm way more than 3 years older. Although I've been on a program of being, checked for a long time. That usually when you have it in your family, So anyway, guys, thank you all, and thank everybody in the chat. It's not too late to hit that subscribe button. It's not too late to hit that like button. Okay, guys. So
and we couldn't do it without you, the peanut gallery. This is what makes it interactive.
Absolutely, Michael. Absolutely. So anyway, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the panel. I want to thank the chat. We appreciate you all so much. And that's what's happening in Royce's world tonight. Thank you so much. And we are signing off.
Night all.
See y'all next week.